Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lainey. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the project panner tag. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. Before we get into that though, if you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. Alright you guys, so I'm doing a tag video. I don't do tag videos too often. I should do them more. But this one was created by Ruth from Ruth Foley. I absolutely love Ruth. I'm so glad I've gotten to know her over the last, year or so. She's just the kindest, funniest person. So be sure to check out her channel if you haven't already, because she is great and she does all things project panning. So be sure to check her out. But she put together a project panning tag, and there are 12 questions, so let's just jump right in. Pardon me if I am looking down. I have my phone here to just go through the questions. I did write some down just ones that might require a little bit more thinking. But so the first question is your easiest category to pan, and I have to say the absolute easiest thing for me to pan is lip gloss, especially lip glosses I really love to use. I think they're just the easiest thing to just kind of put on your lips and reapply, because I find oftentimes lip glosses don't last super long, so they have to be reapplied more. And also, since I work from home, it's really easy for me to just set it on my desk and reapply when I need it. Oftentimes I don't need a mirror to reapply those products, so it's just really easy to reapply those, and I find that depending on the formula they can move really fast, which we'll touch on in a minute. The next question is your hardest category to pan, and I have to say lipsticks I find pretty hard, especially after 2021 and 2020. Yeah, in 2020 I was able to finish quite a few minis, but those had quite a bit of use on them. But I think overall lipsticks are pretty hard to pan, and then powder I find difficult to pan because I use it every day, but I don't think I use like a ton, so I just find, and often powders come very large. I mean, look at this one I have on my desk right now. This is the Kimchi Chic one. It's gigantic. And concealers, I find concealers go pretty fast. I don't always like conceal my acne just because I'm at home most of the time. So I don't know, I feel like the concealing doesn't really help it anyway, so I mostly just use it on my under eyes. I don't really use it as primer anymore, so I find concealer also pretty difficult to use. Foundations, it can depend. I'm on track to probably finish 4 foundations this year, but granted, those already like all the ones I've panned so far this year and are panning right now had significant progress on them already, so it's not like I'm panning 4 full foundations this year. They were all pretty much like halfway or less. So yeah, foundations, it kind of depends where I am in the bottle and the formula and stuff like that. But that is my rambly answer for that question. Next is a product that you flew through, and I have to say the thing I probably panned the absolute fastest was the Tower 28 lip jelly in the shade Cashew. And I also panned like 4 minis of their regular lip jellies last year, and I flew through those super fast as well. Like, I think if I only had the Tower 28 glosses, like I had one at a time, I would probably finish them in a month and a half with how much I reapplied them. They're not the most long-lasting lip gloss, but they're super nice and hydrating. So if that was like my only lip gloss, like I would fly through I would probably go through like, I don't know, 10 to 12 a year. So yeah, that is absolutely like the first thing that came to mind with a product I flew through. Next is a product that you lost the will, it took so long to pan, and I also knew immediately what I was going to pick for that. Take a minute, can you guess if you were with me last year? It's my ColourPop Luxe lipstick in the shade Third Eye. This, I mean, I got a lot of progress on this last year. I have just a little nub left, but the Luxe lip gloss, or the Luxe lipsticks, are not like the lippy sticks, and they are much firmer and they take a lot longer to pan. There's also more product in them, and at this point I don't know if I'm ever gonna touch this lipstick again. I like the color, I like the formula, but I just have no desire to use this product anymore, and I don't like to use lipsticks as blush, so yeah, I definitely lost the will to pan this. I was considering maybe bringing it back this year, but at this point in the year, I don't think I'm going to. And next, the question is a product you won't let beat you. And again, can you guys take a guess if you were with me last year? ColourPop Flexitarian. This is taking me forever. I had pan in this when I rolled it into Partners in Cream last year, and it's still not finished. I've been working on it a little bit this year. I need to kick up my progress on it, which I'm going to now that I'm working on one less highlight in my projects. But I will not let this beat me. I will have this finished by the end of the year. These just take forever to finish. And I know there's other ways to use it, like under my foundation and things like that. I need to kind of step it up on that game a little bit, but yeah, I will not let this Flexitarian highlight beat me. The next question is the easiest eyeshadow formula to hit pan in a matte and shimmer. So for the easiest formula to hit pan on in terms of a shimmer, I would say Davina shadows are pretty easy to hit pan on. I find them very they're just really easy to pick up. The only one I would say that's not easy from Davina is the Moonscapes, because you only need the tiniest amount. I would also say any iridescent shade from pretty much any brand is really easy to hit pan on, because you're often using those as an inner corner highlight or more targeted application. So you're using a smaller brush that has a more targeted hole, like it's making a targeted like kind of pan. So I would say any iridescent shade. And I would also say Glam Shop. I've had pretty good success hitting pan on not just their mattes, but also their shimmers. But I also wrote down for easy mattes, I put Dandelions, which was a surprise to me because, well, okay, to be fair, I've only hit pan on one Dandelion shade, but it took like less than 10 uses, I think. Where's my palette? Yeah, it took me 10 uses to hit pan on my Dandelion's matte shade, and I probably used it 1 to 2 times before that, so I would say that's a pretty easy amount of uses to hit pan on a matte shadow. They're just super, super powdery, and I do try to pick up the kick up when I can, but because they're so powdery, it's pretty easy to hit pan on. The next question is hardest eyeshadow formula to pan matte and shimmer. So I would say the hardest shimmers would probably be Cleona. I find shimmers in general to be pretty easy, but I would say Cleona shades because they're a thicker pan and sometimes they're overfilled. Like there's often, do I have, where's my Cleona shade? As much as I love Cleona, they're not always consistent in the fill of the shades, so I don't know if you can kind of tell, but you can see that this shade is kind of, it's more, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell, but it's like above the pan. So some of their shadows are like that, where it's kind of like, I don't know, do you guys know what I mean? Like it kind of goes above the pan with the way they press them. So I would say Cleona shades are hard for that reason. They're also very pigmented, and I find you don't need a lot. In terms of mattes that are hard, I think ColourPop mattes, depending, sometimes there's ones that are not as hard pressed, but in general I find ColourPop mattes to be pretty hard to hit pan on, and mattes in general are not my favorite thing to pan because they are harder. But I would say ColourPop mattes as well as Lethal Cosmetics mattes. I'm panning them for the first time this year, and I have 3 of them in my Battleship Project pan, and they're definitely not easy. I would also throw Menagerie in there. Menagerie, it really depends on the palette and the color. Some of them are easier to hit pan, others, because they are so pigmented, they can be hard, but Menagerie is another one where a lot of their palettes are very powdery, so there's a lot of kick up. So in that regard, they can be easy to hit pan on as well. So it really depends for Menagerie. The next question is best alternate use to pan a product faster, and I know most panners will do this, but I actually don't usually use products for an alternate use. The only thing I could really answer for that is using like a liquid highlighter in different ways, like mixing in with your foundation, putting it under foundation, and then using it as a highlighter in that way. But other than that, I don't really multi-use products. I don't know, I don't like to use lipsticks on my face if I'm going to then apply them to my lips, especially because I am very acne prone, so I'm very conscious about if a product is, you know, I will use it if it's a cheek product, but I don't like to, I don't know, lipsticks aren't formulated for the cheek, so I'm just always afraid I'm going to break out. I have been considering trying mixing in some powder highlight in with lotions to make use of them that way, but I really can't say because that's not something I've done before. It's not something I typically do, but so don't really have a good answer for that one. Question 9, best project panning tip or trick to use up a product. So my best project panning tip is to give yourself days where you're not project panning, which sounds counterintuitive, but For me, I get really bored if I'm just using my project panning items, so it's really important to me, like for example today, the majority of the items I'm wearing are not project pan items because it's really important for me to give myself breaks and not feel like I'm using the same things every day. I can get really repetitive, I can just get bored really easily, and so I think if you're struggling with that when you start out with project panning, just give yourself like 2, maybe 3 designated days during the week where you use whatever you want. Maybe it is your project pan items, but maybe it's, you know, a different palette that you're not working on, or maybe a different highlighter or blush, because a lot of us who are project panning, we have these larger collections, we have larger blushes, but yeah, I might be able to finish a blush if it's the only thing I work on for the year, but then I have 30 other blushes just sitting in my drawer that have gotten no use. I would rather have more use across the board than just target it on one product. So for me, my best panning tip is to have times where you're to have days of the week where you're not using your project pan items. I think that is the best tip so you don't get burnt out on project panning. So number 10 is, what has project panning taught you? And I feel like I don't have like the most amazing answer. I feel like, yeah, it's taught me to be more mindful of what I'm buying. It's helped me work on curbing my makeup purchases because it's just more tangible, I guess, because I'm taking tallies and I'm keeping track of when it rolls in, when I finish it, and I'm keeping track of my empties and seeing that. So I would say it helped a little bit in trying to curb my spending. I haven't always been the greatest, although it is May 15th and I have not bought a single makeup thing this month, aside from brushes, but that's not counting. But I think the thing, this is not really answering the question, but I think the best thing project panning has brought me is like the community that's here on YouTube. I've met so many amazing people, and I love that so many of us watch each other's videos, and I've met so many people that I feel like I can call my friend now, and it's just been like a really amazing thing that I found this community out there. So it's not really, that's not really answering the question, but project panning has taught me a way also to have balance in using items, but also getting enjoyment out of everything else in my collection, which kind of goes back to the other question I was talking about, is finding that balance between panning things but also enjoying the other things I have in my collection. Number 11, this question is courtesy of Deb. I will also link her down below, is the product you're proudest of panning. So the next question is courtesy of Deb. I will link her down below, and that is a product you're proudest of panning. And honestly, I don't have anything like that super comes to mind. I mean, I'm proud anytime I pan a blush. I've managed at least one blush every year so far, which has been amazing. I was really proud of finishing the CoverGirl powder that I finished. Was that earlier this year? No, that was last year. When was it? Yeah, it was last year. Anytime I finish a powder, I'm always super proud of that. So basically, blushes and powders I'm always super proud of. I'm really proud of my progress I'm making on my e.l.f. bronzer in my Rolling 2022 project pan, because I've never panned a bronzer before and it's going extremely well. So I'm really proud of that as well. And the last question is courtesy of Dannie. I will link her down below if you do not watch Dannie. But favorite projects to watch. And I have to say, and I think according to my analytics, and I'm sure if you're a creator, probably your analytics as well, pan those eyeshadows. I think that's a popular project for a reason. I think it's really satisfying. I think it's really fun. So I really love watching pan those shadows, or really like any eyeshadow related project. Like if it's, like I know several people are doing eyeshadow specific, like Beauty A to Z, or like project level ups, Duty Pan My Battleship. I really love those. And then I love anything prompt based. I love the randomization, whether it be DACA panning or any other like Fantastic Ladies project where like there's prompts you have to connect with products. So I always think those are super fun. I think the ones that are going on right now, I really like Panning Punk, and I really like Throwback 30. I'm going to be joining that this year, and I'm really excited about it. And I probably will never be a participant in this project, but the 50 Shades products, so they did pink, then purple, and now this year it's green. I will probably never participate in those projects because it's just a little too much for me, but those are always super fun for me to watch, like, on the sidelines. Alright, so those are all of the questions. I hope you enjoyed. If you don't have a channel, let me know what your answers might be to some of these questions down below. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, thank you to Ruth for creating this project. I will, again, be sure to check out Ruth if you are not already. She is fantastic, as well as Dannie and Deb. They will be linked down below as well. And yeah, that is all I have for you today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!